Assalamu alaikum. Uh, well, this is Saad Mustafa. Um Today, our topic of discussion is what is imagination. Before coming to the topic, we have to know what is imagination and how people imagine and what role real imagination plays throughout our lives in our lives, and how can we relate, and how can we uh, turn our imagination, dreams. So these are the different topics, but we have to understand first what is imagination. I have discussed earlier the topic difference between imagination and dream, but today we'll discuss the topic imagination. So basically, imagination is all about the person who usually feels himself or dealing itself with the feeling in which he has that sense or that perception which he cannot express easily with other people. He has many means he can express. He can. I can say that he has his point of views. He can narrate it, but he don't know, or he has no enough expressions to relate or to narrate or to explain his imagination into reality, or what he imagined he can relate it to the people. So basically, we have to understand what is imagination. um, Imagination is the feeling in which it seems that you want to do that thing which is not really which is uncertain, which is not occurring act of your mind. Sometimes you're peculiar, sometimes you color your world, sometimes you have that feeling that you are in that situation in which you feel that you are the powerful one. So it is your imagination which relates it, which generate that you're the powerful man. But to make your imagination into reality, it is a different topic. uh, you can imagine in different ways. For example, if you go to the books, sometimes you can imagine in the books of short stories. You can imagine with the hero protagonist, definitely what he's trying to elaborate, what he's trying to narrate. So you can imagine at that time that you are the person who is suffering, or you who is doing that thing, or who is powerful at that time is you. So you can relate it. That is the person who is very strong is you, of course you, but it is not seldom true, because it's a story. So this is your imagination, that you are feeling that this person is you. Then we can I hope I will wait. I will just introduce a broadcast. Okay. Yeah. So we have to. Yeah. So first, definitely, this person is narrating himself or herself, or portraying herself. Sorry for the pronunciation. Portraying herself or himself as the person who feels himself courageous, who feels himself egoistic, who he feels himself, who is suffering, who is a person who is trying to cope up, who is a person responsible for everything. So you definitely feel and imagine that scenario, in that scenario your personality. In these circumstances, you have to be sure that it's a story. Your nobility, nobility has to be questioned, that why you are, some people say that why you are wasting your precious time in those moments in which you cannot really stay. Even you cannot express those moments in dream. For example, if the other hero or the protagonist is courageous, so how can you determine yourself, how can you push yourself, how can you force yourself, how can you implement yourself, just like the person who is acting in the play, who is acting the story, who is the person courageous in the story. But as for yourself, this is your imagination, that you are so concerned with that scenario, you're so dedicated, you definitely you will dedicate yourself at the time in that scenario. You feel that you are the person who is really going in that, who is really going in that scenario, who is really forcing himself. So you have to be sure about that first. Then we have another point of view, which is, you can say that uh, poetry. So in this and that poetry, when you read nature, you definitely feel yourself, you definitely observe that you are the part of that poetry, you really love that. You feel yourself be lost in the stigma, and not stigma, in the beauties of the nature. So uh, you have to make sure that when you are reading or reciting, you can say listening poetry, as a blind fellow I am. So you have to be sure that be realistic. For example, sometimes very sensitive, we don't have any calmness left in us anyways. So we feel that we are the observers, not observers, we have the product of that imagination. And that natural scene is for us, not for the hero protagonist. And in his or her, we are the product, uh, we are responsible. So it is not all about that reality anyways. So imagination keeps talking till we realize it's not true. Imagination keeps us awake till we sleep. So it is the feeling in which we can say that, we can assume that we uh, we are supposed to be get we are in that feeling in which we feel that we cannot live it, but it is only a perception, not the reality, infatuation. And we feel that we lost ourselves, we feel to be lost, and there's nothing left in us anyways. For example, if we saw some horror movie, oh, we feel that, oh, it is really happening with us. So in a real life, we also started feeling shy, we also started feeling afraid, we really start wondering and afraid of the things which are very very simple. For example, we are not even ready to stay in our rooms ourselves. So we expect that somebody has to come and stay with us because we feel that it can happen with us. So to fulfill our perceptions, we feel to be lost in that imagination in which we feel the giants and um, witches and um, superstitious creatures in which in the movies or in the novels or in the novellas or in the poems. These are reality, but these are not realities. So imagination talks till you sleep. It is a reactionary expression. It is a reactionary expression in which expressions speak with the passion or with the story in which you feel to be completely lost in. So it is just kind of a feeling that in which you always react, always believe that you are the product of that passionate, you are the product of that ability, but it is not the reality all about. It isn't perception. It is just only imagination in which you feel you observe what you see, but it's not compulsory or compensating everywhere. For example, in the stories, or you see the giants, or you see the witches, or you see the magic, or you see the superstitious creatures, or you see the zombies. So, what role? I mean, what do you expect? Are they real? Can they come? Can they come in reality? No. It's not superstition. Is the creator? It is the creation of mankind. So how can we see? How can we express that? We can explore ourselves. We have to be sure about that reality. It's all imagination, and in which we express what we see to unheard. We observe, we heard. We observe, we heard, and we definitely heard what is unheard because we want to hear that. That is not reality sometimes. Yes, imagination is sometimes sensitive. For example, if you are the sufferer sometimes, if you sometimes love someone, if you sometimes like someone, and in case in back you didn't get any response, you get hurt. So when you feel someone talking about that liking or disliking problems, when you feel someone talking about the love story, you definitely feel to be lost in. You feel definitely your tears definitely comes because you observe what comes with imagination. You left your story unheard with the imaginative tale, which is not true. So you believe, you start suffering again, you start compensating yourself again, you start observing the reaction with your passion again, you start affectionate your affection with the new affectionate approach again. In that way, imagination is also affecting ourselves. So it is definitely playing definitely playing a role in which imagination is also observable. And sometimes you feel to be sympathized. If you see some blind person, it's not your imagination. If you are blind, you will definitely feel to help him or her. But I will give another lecture on sympathy another time. But sympathy, sometimes you feel sympathy in the other people's imagination because your feelings really starting talking with yourself in the way in which the unheard reality talks with the bitterness. So bitterness started the bitter reality start talking with the uh, unfold unfolded reality which is behind the scene. So that's why we most of the time when we start to we can say that behind every smile is a pain. So we can relate that quotation in that way, that behind every smile, for example, in every smile, when we start feeling, when we start observing, when we start reacting towards the smiles of another person, so it is a feeling in which there is a lot of pain. So I hope imagination is a feeling in which your expressions talk louder than words. Imagination is a feeling in which your actions are soothing, but reactions are more stronger. It is not forcible, it's not reaction all the way, but you can make your own dimension with your imagination. So I hope it's from my side today. What do you think, what you believe, and what you learn? You have to please explain, and please tell me that did you like that, and please do like my page and join Lost Tale. Thank you so much. My name is Saad Mustafa, and since I have explained you earlier, I'm totally blind. Alhamdulillah, I've started giving lectures on various topics. You can also suggest me personally. You can message on Lost Tale, and I will definitely act on your advice. We'll discuss different topics with your observation, with your request as well. Thank you so much from yourself. Please do listen and promote my video. Thank you.